As you know, President Barack Obama last week signed into law the Every Student Succeeds Act, replacement legislation for the much criticized No Child Left Behind. What will this look like at the ground level? For some answers on that, maybe we bring in Christine Campbell, the president of West Virginia American Federation of Teachers. Good morning, Christine. Happy warm December Monday.
Good morning. I know it's kind of surprising.
I walked outside this weekend and I had to check the calendar to figure out what month it was, and it continues today.
Exactly.
So Every Student Succeeds. Provisions do a couple of the following: hold all students to high academic standards that prepare them for success in college and careers. Ensure accountability by guaranteeing that when students fall behind, states redirect resources into what works to help them and their schools improve. Empower state and local decision makers to develop their own strong systems for school improvement based upon evidence rather than imposing cookie-cutter federal solutions like No Child Left Behind Act. Just in general, Christine, is this legislation good or bad for West Virginia students?
I think it's going to be good for West Virginia students. I think that we have, developed an evaluation system, standards, testing system that actually can work all the way around. And what we've been doing is reviewing, revising, waiver after waiver to meet federal requirements, and this puts us at beginning one. We already have an evaluation system. We already have high-quality standards. We have a testing system that is aligned to the standards that is currently being reviewed to ensure that it is the correct assessment system for our kids and really identifies their abilities. And I think this new law is going to give us the flexibility to really look at West Virginia kids, West Virginia teachers, how can we compete nationally, but also how can we address our specific needs in our state.
The annual testing in reading and math, that's going to continue for 3rd through 8th grade students. And then high school students, they'll be tested once before graduation. Was No Child a waste then, in your view, Christine?
Well, I don't know that it was a waste. I think that we have to have some kind of, we receive funding from the Department of Education, and that funding has always helped us identify, struggling students, struggling schools, and have resources to do something about it. I think we lost sight of what that really means along the way, and now we have an opportunity for the states to develop their own plan based on our students' needs and our teachers' needs. And, as last year, when the requirement said that you had to evaluate teachers based on 15% of their performance was based on student test scores, but that was only for math and language arts teachers. So it actually broke the system that we had developed that empowered teachers to set student learning goals based on multiple measures and not just one test score. So this is an opportunity to go back to what the original system meant to do and be able to do that.
We're talking with Christine Campbell, president of the American Federation of Teachers here in West Virginia, about the Every Student Succeeds Act. Many of the provisions will take effect ahead of the 2016-2017 school year. Christine, will students see any changes, or is that all going to be above their heads in the administration, these requirements?
I think the students could see changes if the state takes the initiative to say we don't have to do this obsessive testing anymore. That we can look at, because even though the federal requirement is only 3rd through 8th and once in high school, West Virginia is already testing kids more than that. And this is an opportunity for us to say, yes, as West Virginia, we can develop an assessment structure and a set of assessments that actually will show student achievement, and that we can stop testing every single grade every single year with benchmarks and practice tests and test-taking strategies, and it's just gotten out of hand for the students. And I think if West Virginia takes the initiative that we've been given with this new law, that the students will see reduced test.
We're talking with Christine Campbell with the West Virginia American Federation of Teachers. I know we'd seen, well, today there's going to be a meeting among some legislative leaders and the president of the State Board of Education looking at the revised education standards at the state level to replace the Common Core Next Generation standards. You know, Christine, I start talking about all this and I get a little frustrated because it's hard to boil it down. It's hard to say, okay, here is what students need, you know, because it's just so much bureaucracy. It feels like to an average person. You're more into it. Is it, when you look at these details, are you confident that every student succeeds can get West Virginia students to where they need to go?
I think there's the potential for that.
Mm-hmm.
But because Every Student Succeeds Act is empowering the states, it's up to our state Board of Education and our state Department of Education, and frankly the legislature is involved too, that it's up to all the folks that are working for the system have to take on that responsibility and really make sure that it's not turning into just another bureaucratic system, but what are we doing to help kids? And when we focus on that and we listen to the teachers who work with those students every single day, then we can make a difference. But this only empowers the state to do that. It doesn't require them to do it this way. So it's an opportunity, but it's not a home run unless the state really utilizes the resources on the ground, which are the teachers, and listens to what the students, what they're saying. Because, you know, the state superintendent has a student advisory group. He is talking with students, and they do know that what they used to do in class, which was be engaged in their learning, and the teachers were engaging the students, and now we've turned into just this, you know, we have to prepare for the test. The pressure of that, of one day, has a direct impact on really engaging instruction and student learning.